abundance rewiring that you're doing. Can you tell me what the hell is that? Like, what does it do to us?
Okay, so basically, abundance rewiring, like hypnosis, is amazing, but I feel like hypnosis doesn't really give you the fast results that you want. Like, I work with a lot of women who have ADHD, they're high achievers, they're driven by achieving and performing, the high performers, right? So like sometimes when you go for hypnosis, it's like, okay, I've done the inner child work, I've done all that trauma work, what next? Mm-hmm. So what abundance rewiring is a combination of timeline therapy, Ho'oponopono, NLP, cognitive behavioral therapy, mental emotional release.
I'm going to pretend like I know what that means.
Okay. So yeah, neuro-linguistic programming is like when you find out the meaning of like a memory and then you just change the meaning. Cognitive behavioral therapy focuses more on the habit and breaking the habit than focusing on the beliefs. Timeline therapy is similar to hypnosis, but you're just removing bad memories from your timeline in your past. Ho'oponopono is about the energy work. So, when you do EFT tapping, or like when you're changing your energy field, like quantum healing, that's more to do with that. And mental emotional release is about removing the suppressed emotions that you held with the memories, the bad memories. So basically, I combined all of that together. And what I did is I created abundance rewiring. I was like, this is going to be the best formula. And I tested it. I've tested this formula on like 300 people now. Wow. And it's worked every single time. Yeah,
they're all alive and living.
All alive and living, and they're living their best lives as well. Yeah, they have moments where they have downfalls, but they don't go back to the point where they hit rock bottom. That's the key. Like I've worked with people who just had hypnosis, but they still hit rock bottom and they don't want to go back to that place. So what I do in abundance rewiring is, number one, I remove the disempowering belief in your subconscious mind. So I take it out like it's a weed. Okay. And then I install a more powerful belief. So for example, if the belief is I'm not good enough, then I install the belief that you are good enough, right? Then the second step is I get you to cleanse your energy. Now, what happens is, this is the reason why this is why sometimes people fall back into bad habits, because if you need to clear your energy. What happens is, when your subconscious mind has the disempowering belief, it releases toxic energy around it. It's like fumes, like if something was polluting your mind, you're going to have fumes around it, right? What happens is those fumes get stagnant in your womb, for women especially. It gets stored in your womb, and then when you release this empowering belief, that toxic waste in your energy will re-trigger your subconscious mind to go back to sabotage yourself. Wow. So I do some womb therapy on my clients, and I clear the shame. It's literally shame that comes up. So for me, mine was, I was ashamed to want to have money. So if I'm ashamed to have money, I'm going to go back to my old sabotaging ways, right? So I cleanse the womb, I cleanse the energy. And then the third step is I connect you to your future self. Now, this is the most beautiful part of abundance rewiring. It's like I reunite you together with your child, your present self, and your future self. And you become one big family, and you all go together on your journey together. And it's such a beautiful experience. All my clients have gone through it. They're just like, oh my God, I can see my dreams. I can taste it. I can feel it even more now, right?
Welcome, everybody. You are listening to the Omnichannel Podcast, a podcast from digital marketers to digital marketers. I'm your host, Dominique Legrand, and my mission is to help fellow marketers and entrepreneurs to grow their businesses online. So buckle up and let's get started. So I'm super happy you're here, honestly. And I think the first question, what I wanted to ask you before we get into the meat and potatoes of the subject,
right,
is like, how did you walk me through your origin story? Like, how did you get where you are now? And we can talk more about the mission statement of the burnout pussy power, because that's like a different story. But like, just walk me through of like, how did you get where you are right now?
So basically for me, I've been doing a lot of this like mindset stuff since I was young, since I was like 13, 14 maybe. I remember actually my mom, she introduced me to like the world of the mindset of millionaires when I was 14. She gave me a book by David Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big. And that's the book
I
that really
actually listened to that one. That's a really good one.
That's a good one. She gave it to me for my 14th birthday. Like, she was like, read this book. And because I had this, when I was 5, actually, I told my mom that I want to be a millionaire. Like, I want to be really rich. That's when I was 5. And so my mom always knew about me, like my desire to make it big. So I remember she gave me that book and she was like, listen, you want to be a millionaire? Read this book. I think it'll help you. And then when I read the book, and I read it like within a week, I read around 5 books a week. So I'm a very fast reader. And I remember reading that book and thinking, wow, to become rich, it's just the mindset. That's it. It has nothing to do like with the effort. Yeah, obviously you put effort, you have discipline. But the main key of the whole millionaire, billionaire movement is that you decide that you're never going to give up. And that requires your mindset to be at a certain level where you don't play victim, you don't blame, and you take responsibility, right? So and I was bullied a lot in school, and my mom always had this, she always pushed me. She was like, I know you're getting bullied, she sympathized with me, but she said to me, I don't want you to give up. Like, just go back the next day to school, look at these people in the eye and let them know that they can't bring you down. So I was always like, my mom raised me with this resilience, that no matter what, you can control the way you respond to a situation. That you can either choose to allow people to tell you that you're not good enough, or you can choose to believe you're good enough yourself and let everyone else conform to your mindset. That's how my mom raised me. So that obviously as time went on, going to relationships that weren't really good for me, going to very toxic relationships. And then I got to a point in my life when I was like, I had a corporate job, I was a teacher, and then I lost that job because I took some time off work when my mom passed away. And that's when I realized that, wow, I don't really mean, like, the way I see the world is not how people see my world. And that's when a lot of things broke down for me. And I was like, okay, let me go back to what I remember. And when I went through hypnosis, that's when I realized that, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to be a millionaire, but I ignored that calling to try and please people, to try and make other people happy, to try and fit in. Like, I was always trying to fit in because I felt like I didn't belong. When I went through hypnosis and I started doing the inner child work, that's when I started living on purpose. And I was like, oh my God, this is who I really am. Like, there's no shame in wanting to be rich. Always felt ashamed of wanting to be rich. Always felt like it's bad to want to be rich. And then when I went through hypnosis, I was like, nah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's cool. It's okay to be rich. So that's basically my journey. And then obviously, like, I went into, after I did all that inner work, I started working with people, with women. I started with weight loss. I helped women lose weight. Then I helped women overcome anxiety. Then I helped women bounce back after a divorce, because I went through a divorce. And then recently, like 3 years ago, is when I became a wealth hypnotist, and I started teaching entrepreneurs how to conquer burnout so that they can live a life that turns them on, tap into their pussy power, really like have the richness, but also have like the lifestyle to match. Like, I call it opulence. The definition of opulence is to have affluence, wealth, and luxury. So that's what I teach now.
Well, that's amazing. I think, first of all, your mom was a freaking superhero. Like,
yeah, I
wish I had a mom like yours who hands me a book at 13, like, read this, my child, and like supports me through my life. I think I'm not blaming like my mom for being a more simpler person, but I wish I had yours. So she seemed to be an awesome person.
Thank you. She was really amazing.
I guess I don't want to stir this conversation to money and wealth too much, but I think most of us were raised with the concept that money is evil, money is bad, wanting money is greedy, greed is bad, and I think that's implanted. It's almost like our generations were like suffering and like poor, and that's like almost like a pride of like being in that how do I say it? It's like stuck, but like, and struggling, but like struggle is what they know. And so that's their whole identity is tied into struggling. And so I did hypnosis on that as well, on the money blocks. and really realizing that money is just paper. And like, you need a whole bunch of it to have a very comfortable life. And that's different for everyone. Like my conception of wealth and, yours is different. And the third person, like we all have different definition of what we think is a lot of money and what we think is what we desire in our life. And if yours is to have a ton of it, like, be my guest, like that's like, so like you should be able to do that without being judged, without being criticized and called whatever. So I applaud you for tapping into that calling and aligning with yourself with that, because it's just so important, especially with something that is just like the negative connotations are freaking everywhere, and it's so hard to break out of that cycle.
Right, that's so true. That's so true. I want to add to that also, that I think that as women, we shame ourselves so much not wanting to dream big, because we have been taught for so long to just be caretakers. Yeah. And that women are supposed to give and like love, and we're supposed to be there, please everyone, and put ourselves last. So I feel like as women, we have that negative connotation because we've been raised to be the women that look after everyone, and we burn out.
Yeah, no, I think it's so true. And I would add to that is that dimming your lights and like holding back into what you are is so common just to fit in, right? Like you would think that, and I feel that a lot of times when I'm dimming myself around people is that I'm not hanging out with the right people. Because if I have to dim myself, then it's probably because it's not the right people. I need to be surrounded by people that I can not dim my light and be myself and still not feel like I'm too much. And I feel like that's, I don't know if you ever felt like you were too much.
Yes.
You had to like, fuck, I'm too much.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, girl, I'm so glad you touched upon that. I've always felt like I'm too much, even in school. Like the things I used to come out with, like I'm gonna be famous. I used to do autographs and people used to laugh at me, like you're too much. Like that, like the way I talk sometimes, like, I'm very passionate about certain things, and people like, I can't handle your energy. I don't know how to handle it. And sometimes, like, if you're not around them, like you mentioned, if you're not around the right people, they're going to view you as a threat rather than someone that you can ally with.
Yeah. And that's so dangerous because you think there's something wrong with you. And you might think, oh my God, I need to hold back because I'm too much. But no, you're not. It's just you're not hanging out with the right people. And so that's so important to surround yourself with who you can be your authentic self and like create that circle. And just like people will naturally fall out, whoever are not supposed to be there anyway. So that's cool. I guess.
Right. Exactly.
Anyhow, so let's talk a bit more about this mindset rewiring, abundance rewiring that you're doing. Can you tell me what the hell is that? Like, what does it do to us?
Okay, so basically, abundance rewiring, like hypnosis, is amazing. But I feel like hypnosis doesn't really give you the fast results that you want. Like I work with a lot of women who have ADHD, they're high achievers, they're driven by achieving and performing, the high performers, right? So like sometimes when you go for hypnosis, it's like, okay, I've done the inner child work, I've done all that trauma work, what next? So what abundance rewiring is a combination of timeline therapy, Ho'oponopono, NLP, cognitive behavioral therapy, mental emotional release.
I'm going to pretend like I know what that means.
Okay. So yeah, neuro-linguistic programming is like when you find out the meaning of like a memory and then you just change the meaning. Cognitive behavioral therapy focuses more on the habit and breaking the habit than focusing on the beliefs. Timeline therapy is similar to hypnosis, but you're just removing bad memories from your timeline in your past. Ho'oponopono is about the energy work. So when you do EFT tapping, or like when you're changing your energy field, like quantum healing, that's more to do with that. And mental emotional release is about removing the suppressed emotions that you held with the memories, the bad memories. So basically I combined all of that together. And what I did is I created abundance rewiring. I was like, this is going to be the best formula. And I tested it. I've tested this formula on like 300 people now. And it's
Wow.
worked every single time. Yeah,
They're
300
all
people.
alive and living.
All alive and living, and they live in their best lives as well. Yeah, they have moments where they have downfalls, but they don't go back to the point where they hit rock bottom. That's the key. Like I've worked with people who just had hypnosis, but they still hit rock bottom and they don't want to go back to that place. So what I do in abundance rewiring is, number one, I remove the disempowering belief in your subconscious mind. So I take it out like it's a weed. Okay. Then I install a more powerful belief. So for example, if the belief is I'm not good enough, then I install the belief that you are good enough, right? Then the second step is I get you to cleanse your energy. Now, what happens is, this is the reason why hypnosis, this is why sometimes people fall back into bad habits, because if you need to clear your energy. What happens is, when your subconscious mind has the disempowering belief, it releases toxic energy around it. It's like fumes, like if something was polluting your mind, you're going to have fumes around it, right? What happens is those fumes get stagnant in your womb. For women especially, it gets stored in your womb, and then when you release this empowering belief, those that toxic waste in your energy will re-trigger your subconscious mind to go back to sabotage yourself. Wow. So I do some womb therapy on my clients, and I clear the shame. It's literally shame that comes up. So for me, mine was, I was ashamed to want to have money. So if I'm ashamed to have money, I'm going to go back to my old sabotaging ways, right? So I cleanse the womb, I cleanse the energy, and then the third step is I connect you to your future self. Now, this is the most beautiful part of abundance rewiring. It's like I reunite you together with your child, your present self, and your future self, and you become one big family, and you all go together on your journey together. And it's such a beautiful experience. All my clients have gone through it. They're just like, oh my God, I can see my dreams. I can taste it. I can feel it even more now, right? So what I do is, like, your child, when you were younger, your child and your higher self were connected. That's why no one could tell you no. That's why no one could tell you that you dream too big. That's why you were fearless, because your higher self was guiding your inner child, your child self. But then what happened is, society came along and it told you that you can't do it, you're not good enough, go get a job, work 9 to 5, that's how I'll value you. So then your higher self and your child got disconnected. So what I do is I bring you all together in a little reunion, and that's basically abundance rewiring.
Wow, that's so amazing. You need to get me on that thing very soon. Listen, Rosie, there's a few things that came to my mind, and I'm going to share it with you because I'm working with a coach right now, and she's helping me unblocking some of my self-limiting beliefs. And what I told her is that when I go and do hypnotherapy, I usually go to my safe place, and my safe place is my glass house. Yeah. And the wall is like water, and I'm like going there, touching it, hanging out in my house. It's very detailed. I have a very, very detailed description of how my house looks like in the future. And I hang out with my future self. And sometimes she's telling me like messages that I'm looking for answers. She would tell me exactly what to do. And I live my life hanging out with my future self all the time. And so what I'm working on right now is how can I bring that into the present moment? And what she told me, that because I go and anchor myself into the future, that at some degree, at some level, no matter how much therapy and hypnotherapy I'm doing, because I've never been there, there is going to be that seed of doubt that you've never been there. And what do you think about that? Like, what do you think about anchoring in the future? What do you think about hanging out with your future self? Do you think that's not going to work? Because what she told me is that because it's so far in the future, I never know when I'm going to get there. And there's no road signs, like how far are we? And it's just overall not a good thing to do. Like, what do you think about that?
Well,
Sorry.
okay. I believe that we are looking through our higher self. Like, this is what I believe. Right now, you're in the present moment, and your higher self is looking at you through memories. That's what I believe. And I believe that when you're able to connect to your future self, it's about letting go of the how. And I think that's what a lot of us focus on. So that, you know how your coach said that we haven't been there? That's because the focus is on the how. As long as you're able, because this is what stops you from sabotaging, this is what stops you from procrastinating and being a perfectionist, is if you're able to connect to your future vision and you're able to feel it, sense it, taste it, and believe it, no matter what, it's always going to happen. Whatever you want is going to happen. And I'm living proof of it. Like, I've been through, like, I was sexually abused as a child. I was bullied. I had depression. I was suicidal. I've been through all these events in my life, experiences in my life, and I'm here today with a multi-six-figure business. That's because somehow I attached to my future self. Somehow, when I was in those moments, I was still able to sense and feel and taste what it will be like once I get to that moment, once I get to the point where I feel successful. And along the way, I always felt successful. I always felt like I have it all. And this is what's required when you attach to your future self. You have to feel like you have it. And this is the thing, right? That when you feel like you don't have it, that's when your subconscious mind will start projecting that into the world and saying that you don't have it. So let me prove to you that you don't have it. Because remember, your subconscious mind doesn't know the truth between reality and the truth, right? It just knows what you tell it. So if you tell yourself, I'm a millionaire and I feel like it, your subconscious mind is going to be like, okay, let's go prove that. Let's go see how true that is. And things will happen in your life that you get opportunities. Like I'm on a podcast with you today. This is an opportunity for me because I keep telling myself I'm an expert. I'm a millionaire. People listen to me. People like want to hear my stuff. I'm not telling myself that, maybe not. This is not going to work. And it requires me to always be my future self. This work that I'm doing right now, if I just work on it in the present and tell myself the present moment is the only moment I'm going to live in, and I don't attach it to something in the future, my subconscious mind is not going to want to move forward. It's going to want to stay here because here feels better than going in the future. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. I do find comfort in that, going to hang out with my future self. Like when things are crumbling around me and my circumstances are not what I want them, I literally go there to the safe place and I just hang out and I feel so good in those moments because I know I'm going to be fine. It's like, I know it's there. It's just right now it's not, I guess. And my question is like, how do you bridge the gap to embody that in the present moment? And what do you personally teach your clients to do? And what do you do yourself?
So the number one thing I do is affirmation. So I ask for affirmation. So I say, why am I rich? Like, why am I rich? Why am I happy right now? Why do I always get what I want? And then I say to myself, of course I'm rich. Of course I'm wealthy. Of course I'm an expert. Of course I have everything I want. So I ask the why and I follow it up with of course. And what that does is it gets me out of my stuff, my shit. Like, I'm feeling sorry for myself, telling myself, woe is me. It gets me out of that. And it's like my subconscious mind goes to work. So the moment you ask yourself why, because normally we say, like, why me? Why did this happen to me? And then your subconscious mind will reply, well, because remember that time when you were a little kid and your mom and dad shouted at you, right?
Yeah, like, that's not helpful, mate.
Right? But some people do that, right? They go back to the past, like, yeah, that's why. I remember that time, that's why. So it gives us a chance to play victim, right? But when you say to yourself, why am I rich? Why am I always blessed? Why do I always get what I want? Why does money always come my way? Why do my clients love me? When you start asking those questions, your subconscious might be like, well, because of this, because, you're really, really good at what you do. Like, you're really good at asking for what you want. Remember that time when you asked for 100K and then your client gave it to you, they said, yes, I'm in. So your subconscious mind starts looking for answers. Just remember, your subconscious you ask it a question, it's going to provide the answer. So it's better to ask yourself better questions than to bring yourself down, right?
It's so crazy. I think Tony Robbins said, if you ask your mind a lousy question, you're going to get a lousy answer. Right. It's like, why am I fat? It's because you can't stop stuffing your face. That's why. Like, instead of asking, how can I build a habit of working out? Well, what you can do, sign up to the gym and like show up every fucking day, and then you will lose weight. Right. So those questions are really important. So just to summarize what you said is that in those moments, in order to embody the future self, like the higher self, is that you have to ask yourself those questions that are not lousy questions, and then have your answers and really embody that whatever you're saying, you're gonna get those and so do you have to do anything else besides that? Like, I don't know.
You can. So for me, it depends on like how you learn. So for me, I'm very visual, and it also depends on your love language. So if your love language is like words of affirmation,
yes, it is.
Yeah, it depends on how you receive love as well, because sometimes you'll be doing things because you want to feel love, but you just don't know what makes you feel loved. So some people do meditation, some people meditate, some people do EFT. Journaling. I find journaling, because I'm really good at writing. I love writing. Journaling for me and asking questions in the moment. Like in the moment for me, what works when I'm having like a terrible day, or like I feel like I'm going down that road of sabotage, asking affirmations works. Then when I feel like I'm about to, I can feel it creeping up, I journal. Right. So what I would say to people is also don't. There's not one particular way, because I use tons of tools, and I teach my clients tons of tools that they can have depending on the moment, right? Because sometimes you'll find, right, that you're doing EFT tapping, right? You're tapping out the energy, and you find that it's not working, but then you find journaling in that moment works. Go with what works for you in that moment, and then you'll switch it up. You'll find something else that works in that moment.
Wow. Okay. So it's really specific for people. It's not like a one you go and do now.
Yeah.
It depends on what is working for you personally. Okay.
Of course.
So let's talk about let me just look at the topics here really quickly, because I noted all of that. I don't want to miss anything. So, okay. What does it mean to tap into your pussy power?
Oh, girl. Okay, now we get into it. Okay, I love saying the pussy power, because I feel like as women, we have been so castrated for such a long time. I think about it. Women, even when I read recently, not recently, like a while ago, that female entrepreneurs still get paid less than male entrepreneurs. Can you imagine? You're an entrepreneur. You came out of the 9-to-5 capitalist, patriarchal society, so you can go make money, and you're still earning less. So I realized it's because, number one, us women, when we are in survival mode and we build a business around surviving, we burn out very quickly. What we need around us is things that turn us on. And that's what I mean by tapping into your pussy power. Because your biggest turn on is experiencing pleasure as if you would have an orgasm. That's what drives women. What drives us women is having fun, feeling excited, and feeling turned on. And if you are building your business like a man would, because men can work 24/7. We work around our menstrual cycle. We can't work 24/7. It's impossible for us. But then we shame ourselves if we can't work like a man. So you need to use your divine pussy power to go and find what turns you on. So for me, what turns me on is like jet skiing. I love jet skiing. It makes me feel free. Going for a drive makes me feel free. Going for a massage, spending like £100 or $100 on some food. Like that's what really turns me on. It excites me. But the thing is, what women do is when they're building their business, they castrate those elements to them, because they say, no, I have to be like a man. I have to think like a man, be like a man to build this business. And that's when I work with millionaires. I work with female millionaires that have built an amazing business, but they are so burnt out. They're like, why am I doing this anymore? I'm not fulfilled. That's because you neglected that part of you. You turned that off.
And what do you think? You said in order to turn it on, you need to do things that actually turn you on, like your hobbies, like whatever, works for you. I guess my question is, when it comes to reaching that stage, like, is this something that you turned on and you go back to your business and you're crushing it? Or how would you connect the two together? Or is it not working 24/7, but like letting yourself have those fun experiences at the same time?
Exactly. That's what it is. So what we do as women, we shame ourselves for wanting to have fun. We're like, no, we can't, because we're still thinking like a man. We're telling ourselves, no, I have to run this business 24/7. I have to sacrifice, put 80 hours a week, grind, hustle. That's for the men. That's not for us women. Like, what's her name? Susie Batses. She's the one. Do you know what that product called Poo Puree, where you spray?
Oh yeah, I know. I love the ads.
Oh, girl. She's a 9-figure CEO. You know what she said? She goes, her business became at 9 figures because she followed her intuition and she decided to forget the male standard of building a business. And she said that she had this idea for puree, this perfume, when she was in the shower. And she told herself, she said to the podcast, she said, if I had ignored that intuitive moment and just carried on working and ignored it, I wouldn't have a 9-figure business. I wouldn't have this amazing business. But because I used my divine female power of intuition, that's what helped me build this business. That's where, and she did things that she still has a balanced lifestyle. She's not working 24/7. She has a team. She has people who run her business for her. She hired very early. She didn't wait until she made money. She hired very early because she realized that she can't do it by herself. So this is what happens with us women. When we want someone to cook and clean, we say, no, we can't, because I'm a woman, I should be doing that. When we want to go for a massage or get our nails done, we're like, no, I should be working right now. It's not a very entrepreneurial thing to do. We shame ourselves. So my goal is to help women remove that shame and that guilt so that you can feel the turn on and the pleasure in life.
That's so important. By the way, just going back to the poopery, like Harmon Brothers directed their advertisement on YouTube. You have to watch it. If you haven't seen their ads, it's fucking it's like one of my favorite ads. Like I'm this like ad person, and I love it so much because it's funny, it's like quirky, it's just like perfect. So they did a really good job selling that product for sure. So you mentioned that obviously we try to fit it into society that's male dominated, right? And we try to shame ourselves for not being able to work that much, and like even if we do, we try to push ourselves into a role. It's so funny that you say that, because I always said, like, I used to be that I cook for you, I take care of you, and I'm like, we got catering for that. Like, oh yeah, the cleaning lady can do it for like super cheap. I'm like, yeah, let's get some in-house people that can do the cleaning, cooking. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just like, and I get so much shit for that.
I can imagine.
I get so much shit for that. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, it's just like, you have to know who to share those like visions for, because like yeah, that's why you have catering. And you know what, those caterers, they love cooking. And it's like, they're like, who am I to, if I'm paying for that, it's like they should help us, serve us. And the cleaning lady is just like, is it bad for me to want that to be done for me so I can enjoy my environment? It's not like I'm like super messy or something, but like but it's something that I thought
it's
of.
so true. And it's so true that you said that, like, people don't share that vision. Don't you think that's crazy? Like, us women should have it hard. Like, come on, we bear babies, right? we risk, we have to lower our standards to get into a relationship. Like, we're doing ourselves a disservice every single day, right? Like, we're trying to fit in. So like, when people say that, oh, you should be doing everything yourself, because there's a belief in society that women should have it hard. That's really like, it's really interesting that we have that belief. It comes from generations ago. It comes from so many like famine, war, whatever happened in the past. We are carrying those beliefs in this society right now. And now that we live in a society where this technology is available at the touch of a button, why should us women have it hard? And just like you said, that there's people out in this world who love cooking. So you're doing a disservice to someone who loves cooking, and you're stopping them from expressing their gifts because
and like getting
you want
paid
to hold
for
on
it
to the title.
as well.
Right, exactly, right.
So that's why I'm saying, like, it's so insane. And I feel like, again, I've been hanging out with the wrong people that are like constantly like, judging me, like, are you crazy? And my dad was like, well, Domi, I guess you are like not walking anymore, you are like floating, and as if it's like a bad thing.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's just like, I see what your point is. Like, even from your own family, when you try to express that, and if you are a business owner, like all that. And I remember my dad like telling me how money doesn't grow on trees, you have to work hard for it. And I'm like, I really like like it's like, I don't know, like people seem to appreciate what I do for them, and I don't have to break myself in half to be able to bring that to them. So it's just I don't know, I'm so like sad to see that that's our reality. And that's just like, I'm so glad for you and for your existence as well, and to empowering CEOs and women CEOs to be
to be leaving that shame and like even the weeding that out of them, and so they feel that they are not stupid, or like if to even think that they should not be doing all the heavy lifting by themselves. So I'm so glad that you exist. We need
Thank
to
you so much. Yeah, thank you for recognizing that. Like, I really appreciate that you're recognizing that. That's because that's really like, I can't express to you how much of a mission that is for me, because I saw my mom struggle all her life, and she had depression at the end of it. Like, she just felt depressed. She was broken after it, because that feeling of, I'm a woman and I have to take it all on. So it's like breaking that generational curse that us women don't have to go through that. Like, we're in 2021 now. We're not in 1940s where the men went to war and then we're left behind to cook and clean. Like, no, we got things going on now, right?
Yeah, I'm so glad for that. And it's crazy because I still have friends that are just like struggling and like have so many kids. I'm like, dude, just get yourself a nanny. And like, no, my husband doesn't want me that because it's my job to care for the baby. I'm like, okay, like I'm not talking to your husband anymore, I guess. Like,
right.
So I'm so not agreeing with that mindset.
No.
Anyhow, yeah, that's like, we can talk about it forever. I feel like it's just like, it's infuriating. So we need to clone you. Like, right. I know like science, like how they're doing, but we need to clone you somehow.
Thank you. Oh, I feel so honored right now. You're making me blush.
Yeah, for real. Like, we like it's a Rosie clone clan. Like how Elon Musk is doing with Neuralink. Like I really hope that's like moving along that project, because like
right. Did you clone me?
We get to leave into cloning you into like.
I love that. Oh, that's hilarious. But it's true. It's true though. Isn't it funny how like it's not like some kind of feminist or like I hate men and bashing men. Yeah. But isn't it funny how like for women, like everything revolves around what a man feels like. Yeah. And like we're doing things constantly just to please a man. Like me, like my husband, he doesn't mind. He's happy for me to have a nanny. But it took me like 10 relationships to get to this point. I'm just thinking in my mind, like, why did it take me so long? Like, why? I went through so much heartache just to get to this point. Like, I wish I knew all this knowledge that I have now. I feel like I wouldn't have gone down that road. And I would be like, no, I'm putting myself first. These are my boundaries. This is what I want. I'm not going to settle for less. And I'm done. And I'm going to get what I want. Right? Instead of going through the heartache of all this people, right? Right?
Yeah. With your life would have been.
Life would have been so easy. Like, we make it, because you know why? Because we have that belief that women should have it hard. You see? You see how this belief of we should have it hard. We need to suffer. We need to like break our backs to make someone, a man especially, happy. And yes, we are responsible for that because of our belief system. We always lower ourselves. We tell ourselves that this is as good as I'll get. And we tell ourselves that because of me, this is all I'm going to have. And I'm here to fix a man, or I'm his rehab center. And when he's fixed, he's going to love me because he's going to realize I was there for him through all the shit. And he should love me now. This is the belief that we have.
But that's how you get into a narcissistic relationship, my friend. Like the recipe. I'm gonna fix you. I'm gonna fix you up so good. You're gonna be like, oh my god. Like fuck off. Like work on your own problems. Like fix yourself. Go get therapy.
Get a therapist. Yeah. Like, I'm not your therapist. You need therapy for that. Like not a marriage or a relationship. You don't need that. You need a therapist.
Exactly. And it's not our job to fix a man up. Like, I'm sorry. I try too. Like, I'm guilty, but like I realize that's like a dead end. Like, they have to have that work done by themselves, and it's not my
exactly. Right. And I know as women, like we carry wounds, and this is what I learned as well, that when you have buttons on you, like sometimes our triggers are we display it on our bodies, and someone will come and be like, she has my triggers, I'm going to trigger her and see how she responds. And if she responds in a way that makes me feel good about myself, I'm going to go for it. This is what we both do, like in a relationship. We look at a man, we're like, oh my god, he gives me butterflies. Those butterflies are traumas, girl. Like you need some traumas that you need to heal on. Like that's not butterflies. Like the man should make you feel like peace, and calm, not chaotic, right? But we go for the chaos because of these belief patterns that we have in our subconscious.
It's so crazy because even I read that like narcissists, the reason why they're so addictive is because they keep you on your toes. They always like, they have that, as if, you know, when you have like a car accident and you have the trauma and you're so alert, and alive,
Mm-hmm.
they literally keep you in that loop. And you're like, wow, I feel so alive. But it's just not healthy for you. And anyway, we can talk about like toxic relationships forever.
I know.
An exhausting topics, but I think it all comes back to us reclaiming that power and not taking shit and not taking like claiming what we want, and even have that very clearly clarified, like, okay, this is what I want, and so I'm willing to sit alone in this house. I don't care if I'm alone, like even be okay with that, but I wait until the right man comes, and I'm not going to lower the bar just because I feel like, well, no one's gonna come, but like keeping the standards high and be willing to be alone until that happens. And if you go out, sit down with someone and you're not hitting those whatever you need, like, I'm sorry, then it's not gonna work. Next one.
And you know what, that's the yin and the yang method. Like, for a man, being with a woman is going to make him feel alive, and for a woman, being able to stand alone and feel great is your power. So for a man, like, men can only build with another person. That's how they're innate, that's how they are built. For us women, we can be alone, but we will build with someone that's going to bring us calm, and we're going to only build when we feel so powerful being alone. When I got divorced, I was alone for 3 years, and there were guys, there was prospects, that people wanted to get with me, and I was like, nah, I'd rather just be alone, because if you're not going to I'm at peace right now. If you're not going to match my peace, then I don't want it. And then when I was able to like be okay with that, that's when things fell into place, and that's when I met my husband. Like, we got married in 10 days. That was just like we met over Instagram. He DM'd me about my business. About
slid into the DMs. Okay.
Oh girl, I need to get that. Cause we have a baby now, right? He's a year old, and I need to get that t-shirt where I say, no, I started in the DMs and now we're here. Like, that's literally what happened with me and my husband. And we've been together for 2.5 years, and it's been it's an amazing relationship. Yeah, we have our ups and downs, we have our arguments, but because I'm at peace being alone and he's at peace being with someone, like, he wants to be with me. He don't want me to like chase him. He wants to build with me. That's what makes it a powerful dynamic.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so important, because then no one's happiness depends on the other person, because you are whole as you are. And I think that's so important, to be like, I'm cool either way. Single in relationship, that doesn't change. Like, I am like that unshakable within myself. And I think a lot of people, like, even so fearful of like, what would that be if I'm just by myself? Like, I need a partner, like that craving that I need someone, because like, but I don't know. I think it's a mindset thing. Like, can you? Of course, you can exist without a man. Of course, there are toys for that, and you can like whatever. It's fine. You can make it happen.
Just get a hobby. That's the essence of living a life that turns you on. Like, imagine if me and my husband, like, God forbid, were to divorce or like leave, I would be able to like move on with my life, and I wouldn't feel like oh my God, I'm broken. Like, yeah, I would feel hurt. Yeah, I will be upset, but it's like I want to get to a point where I'm so broken and so depressed, I'm just destroying myself through my grief. That's what a lot of women do, because they weren't ready to be alone. And if you're okay being alone and you see that as something powerful, that's when, like, in your world, no one can destroy what's within you. Because remember, your internal world is what's reflecting on the outside. Yeah. If you're constantly looking for someone outside of you to validate you, you will never feel fulfilled inside. You will never be at peace.
Yeah, and it's so true. And I think it's, first of all, it's hard for women to understand that, and it's harder to actually apply that in their life. So what do you think, in your perspective, are like ways to empower that, like embody that I'm okay? Like, what do you think, what would you suggest for your clients as well to be embodying that?
So I would say to, like, this is what I did. This is my personal journey. I went back and I went through what I overcame. So I overcame attempting suicide. That's like one of my biggest achievements in life. I attempted suicide. It didn't go through. And there's a reason why, because I didn't fulfill my purpose yet. So I look at that. I always look at that with, wow, if I was able to survive that, what makes me think I will not be able to survive anything else? Like, I have something within me. I have a gift. I have purpose, and I'm going to live for that purpose. And that's the second thing, living for your purpose. Have a purpose in mind. Your purpose isn't Like a lot of women say, I just want to be a homemaker. That's great. But what purpose is it fulfilled within you? Is it having a family? Is it like leaving a legacy? Is it having generational wealth? What is the other purpose behind it? And then another thing I will say to women is like, ask yourself, what's the deeper why? You know how Simon Sinek said, like, find your why?
Yeah, start with why.
Start with why, but there's a deeper why. There's always a deeper why. So for me, it's like, I'm building this business, not just for me, but for, number one, for people to see that you can overcome anything. Like, it doesn't make you, it doesn't break you. I mean, it doesn't break you, it will make you. And secondly, so I can leave behind generational wealth for my children, because I never got that. That's my deeper why. So when you, and fourthly, digging into your traumas. Fight, like, this is a big thing. A lot of us seek people to avoid our traumas. We seek things, like we seek pleasure, we seek addictions, we seek people to avoid what's going on within. So when you're able to look within and realize that you are messing up your own life, it's on you. It's on you. It's on no one else. You are messing up your own life with the thoughts that you have and the beliefs that you have. And you're able to go deep within and just excavate your soul, release all that pain, that rejection, that betrayal, that grief, that fear. Release it all, cry it out, punch your pillow, get mad, but then tell yourself, I'm going to get better. I'm going to move on and get better.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful. I remember, like, usually I'm such an independent person in the sense that I even pride myself on that I can cry like a baby and like snap out of it, like, let's go back to work. So
right, I love that.
And it's I thought that was me being cold. Like, how can I turn that on and off? And is this a problem that I'm able to do that? How can I just like a surgeon, like you have a patient and you have to be in that mode when you're, and I'm working, I can't be emotional and think, oh, this patient is like my mom or whatever, you know? So having that ability as to alternate between when I need to be cold, when I need to be like on my game, and when I need to let go. And so I used to think that's a problem. Like, there's something wrong with me, seriously, for having that coldness. But it's like a part of myself. It's like a little darkness that is just like
yeah. And you know what, the most crazy thing, Dominica, I know, like, right now a lot of people are saying about feminine energy, like, just being your feminine. But do you know what happens when you're too much in your feminine? You start getting emotional and you start becoming a victim, start blaming. That's too much feminine. You need that coldness to carry on. You need your masculine. That's your healthy masculine, and you have a healthy feminine. You sound like you found your balance. Like, you found the balance. Like, I'm going to cry, but I'm going to let it go. I'm going to cry, I'm going to feel, but then I'm going to be able to move on, because I realize if I stay stuck in this position, I'm not going to be able to move. And that's the key thing. Like, a lot of us think that feminine energy is being passive, let it flow, let it go. Yes, you do that, but you also have to move. That otherwise you stay stagnant.
Yeah, to some degree. So let's talk about mindset and how your mindset, and I think that's like the marketing side, like, let's cover that, and after I can ramble on like other things. But like we said, like, mindset and like your business and marketing is like so important. Like, why do you think mindset and marketing are coming together, and like mindset and like business are coming together, and like what's your take on that, like in your experience with your clients, like what you've been seeing so far?
So, like, for me, what I believe marketing is like showing people the real you, because people need to know who you are and what they're investing in and what they're buying, right? So the thing is, a lot of us don't want to feel vulnerable online. We don't want to be authentic, because we feel like, if I'm too real, people are going to criticize me, they're going to judge me, they're going to reject me. But the biggest mistake a lot of us do is that we create this fake persona around ourselves. I've got my life together, everything's great. Like, you look at me on my yacht, and there's nothing wrong with that. But also, you need to understand that your clients want to see the real you. They want to see that you go through the same problems as them, but then they want to see how you overcome them. And this is where your mindset and your marketing comes together, and it creates this beautiful, powerful experience for your clients. Because remember, there's the only way that your clients can experience you through your videos and through your content. That's the only way they can experience you, way before they buy from you. So if you're not giving them an experience where they can relate to you, and they don't feel like but the best example I can always give is Kylie Jenner. Now, people are talking about her marketing recently, that she created like this swimwear. It wasn't that great. And, she didn't really listen to her clients. And people are now talking about Kylie Cosmetics. Like, she doesn't really reply to her fans. Like, she's just that type of woman that doesn't hustle like Kim Kardashian. Now, Kim Kardashian, she like listens to her client base. She's relatable. She messes up online. She shows her real self. Kylie's the opposite. So a lot of people are going through that emotion right now where they're saying, like, let's cancel Kylie. Obviously, you don't want to cancel someone. Like, I don't believe in the cancel culture. But a lot of people like calling out Kylie for like who she really is. This is what I mean by being relatable. You have to be able to connect with your audience. You have to be able to connect with them through experiences that tell them, what have you been through? What have you gone through? What's the darkness that you've gone through that has made you the person you are today? And that's what I try to help my clients with. Like, when I help them get rid of those beliefs in their minds that if I'm authentic online, then I'll get judged. That's what I get rid of. And help them get rid of that belief so that they can go online and be vulnerable and will not think a second thought about it. That's powerful.
Yeah, I love that you say that. And I think a lot of people, and including myself, have this. And I with my coach this morning, and she said, you know what, Domi, I know we're just starting out with your coaching, but it seems to me that you need to lose the mask. And I'm like, okay.
You got pulled out. You got pulled out, girl.
Shit. And then I was like, okay, I guess. But like, I think, again, being in this power of yours and embodying that, and like being used to like running your business, like making decisions, and as your CEO, I am a CEO as well of my own business.
Right.
But being in this mode, like 24/7, you kind of lose like where one stops and the real you begins.
Yes, that's true.
And so, like, what do you think is a good tactic for us to tap into that, who we are versus what we need to be in our businesses? And where do I begin as me, and what does that end? And like, what are the lines? Like, do we have to separate those two, or can we somehow bring the two together and be still authentic?
Yeah, I believe that your business is your brand, but it's not here to solve your problems. So the number one thing I tell my clients is, before you post this, are you looking for validation? Are you looking for someone to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry you've gone through that? Are you looking for sympathy? Are you looking to play the victim? If that's the case, you need a therapist or a coach. You don't need to be online right now telling people about your business. Just one second. What I was saying about, okay, how do we not blur the lines? The way you don't blur the lines is by asking yourself that, am I looking to get validation by posting this or by saying this? And this is where the inner work comes in, because people think the inner work is just about dealing with traumas. It's also dealing with beliefs and thoughts that you have, right? And another thing I always say to my clients is that your business is not here to solve your problems. If you are feeling like, I want to put this content out there because I want to say that, look at me, I'm better than everyone, or I want to say that, look at me, woe is me, you need like a coach or a therapist to help you work through those feelings. And then another thing with authenticity is like, be authentic, but be elegant with it. That's what you need to do. Like, and elegance is this. Like, okay, victimhood is this. Like, look at I went through this recently and I feel so bad. I feel depressed. I feel broken. Does anyone else feel me? You're going to create like a pity party. If you're going to put content out there, right, and be like, I went through this and this is how I overcame it, and I know you can overcome it too. That is you being elegantly vulnerable online. And that's what people are looking for. People are looking for you to be able to express yourself, but in a place of empowerment rather than from a place of like victimhood or pity.
Yeah, that's a really good way to go about it. I think that's a really great way. So I guess not just like let's not talk like marketing necessarily, but that who you are as a person. Do you help your clients redefine that as well to who they are? Like that sense of like, I don't know who I am anymore. Like, am I this? And I think a lot of the times, and I'm very, very fucking guilty of that, because my brain works in a way where I seek to understand everything that's happened to me, my past. So this is how I gain control over the situation. So for me, if I had a narcissistic relationship, it's because, oh, cool. Let's see what's happening in my childhood. Oh yeah, that's because of that. That's why. Oh, that's codependent empath. Okay, cool. So getting all that labels in me, like I am an introvert. I guess that's why I feel so drained when I'm outside. Like labeling ourselves, for me, that's like I'm so guilty, like as if like I'm boxing myself to I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. And so you get to the point where, oh, I guess I understand why I do what I do, but I don't want that to be defining who I am, right?
Right.
How would you help someone and your clients as well to redefine that who I am? I am not my trauma. I'm not this. I'm not that. But then who the fuck am I? Like, how would you go about then helping them as well, especially if they are like in their businesses as well all the time? That's what I mean, like blurring the line of like who I am, not just like in one thing as well.
Of course. So number one thing, when we were all born, all of us, every single one of us was able to ask for what we want, right? Like when you cried, you either got fed, your nappy got changed. When you like pooped in the toilet for the first time, your mom and dad like, you know, did a little dance, were like, yay, well done. So who you really are is a very confident, bulletproof to rejection, unstoppable person. That's who everyone is like that. Now the nuance is this: we express it in different ways, right? So I express it through being able to get people out of their BS, getting people to see a different side to life, different perspectives, and getting women especially to get out of their shit and start living their best lives. That's how I express mine. Yours is in a different way, right? Now what I do, like this is like what's so beautiful about inner work, is when I do like abundance rewiring on my clients, when I go through that 3-step process that I spoke about in the beginning, every single person I work with has been like, oh my God, I know who I am now. I'm this person who doesn't back down. I don't quit. I'm able to speak my mind and not fear rejection. That's what every single client of mine has said, that I know who I am now. Like after healing that certain trauma, especially where, and this is where it happens, when you're a child and you express yourself, your true self, and you get shut down, that's the part of you that tells you, okay, I'm not good enough. Like if my mom really loved me, she wouldn't have shut me down, and she wouldn't be telling me off for being myself. And I found with all my clients is that when they go through the abundance rewiring, they become like, they're able to, like I have clients right now who are charging like £500, and now they're charging £3,000 after a session, and they're getting clients because they're not afraid to ask for something, to go back to their baby self, if that makes sense, to their toddler self that was fearless. I want you to like realize this, and everyone listening, is that you were born fearless. That's it. That's who you really are. You are a fearless person, and you express it in a different way. You just have to go deep within and ask yourself, when did I believe that I'm not fearless? When did I believe that? When did I believe that I'm not good enough? When did I believe that I don't belong here? When did I believe that I'm not important, or I don't have anything important to say? And when you're able to go to those events and say, tell yourself, no, like, I'm going to listen to the little girl within. I'm going to give her what she needs there and then. I'm going to validate her, tell her how much I love her, and I'm going to bring her along on my journey. That's when you start becoming who you really want to be.
Wow, that's amazing. So just to talk about the rewiring session, because I think it's a super powerful tool in your toolbox right now that you use to achieve breakthroughs for your clients. Whoever wants to have that breakthrough, what are like how the process looks like? Is it like how long? Like, can you just describe? Do you have to be like hypnosis? Like for someone who's like afraid they're gonna hack into their brain and like implant something, and like, oh.
Okay, so what it is a 2-hour session, and usually 2 hours is enough to help you just break through a certain behavior. So let me give you an example of procrastination. Let's say right now you're procrastinating on getting a project finished, and then you're like, why am I procrastinating? So what happens is I book you in for the session, and then I just basically get you to relax. All you do in the whole session is just go to sleep. That's it. Oh, wow. You just go to sleep and I do the work. It's like you're going for a massage, for your brain, basically. It's like, I'm doing all the work for you. I'm getting you to, I'm finding out where the memory was, what happened when you were a child. I'm finding out what the belief was. Like, you don't have to do any of the hard work, like journaling or meditating or talking. You don't even do any talking. I ask you a question, you give me the answer. Yeah, it's none of that. Like, none of the talk therapy. You just sleep, like literally sleep. I get you to relax and I do all the work.
Freaking amazing. Like, book me in.
Yeah. So yeah, literally, girl, like, let's do it. It's so, like, I remember a client said this to me. She goes, I was so like anxious that you're gonna ask me personal questions and I won't be able to answer them. But she goes, literally, all I had to do was sleep and you did all the work. And another thing is, you remember some of it, but you don't have that feeling like it was traumatizing. Because I have a few people who say, well, I was sexually abused as a child.
Yeah.
Or I went through some severe neglect and I don't want to go past that. I don't want to go back to that. You won't feel like you've gone back to it, because I help you disconnect from the memory and I just help you find the meaning, and I help you remove the charge, the feeling of shame, the feeling of fear, abandonment. I help you remove that without you being involved in the memory. It's a very simple process. Sounds complicated, but in those 2 hours, I do all of that and you wake up, you're like, oh my God, I feel like so light. I feel so happy. I feel so amazing. That's what every client has said to me.
That's amazing. And is this like is this something that you do? Like, I think you have, like you mentioned, you have like a 12-week program as well. Like, what's the difference between the program, like the longer program, and like the 2-hour session? And is it included in the program? Like, what are those things for the listeners who like to work with you?
So I have a 2-hour session. The 2-hour session is basically, we focus on one behavior. So let's say you're procrastinating. I help you find the reason why you're procrastinating, get rid of it, and then help you connect to your future self and do my 3-step process. If it's more than that, let's say you're procrastinating, but you feel like you're not perfect enough, and then you feel like a fake on top, and there's 3 beliefs that you have in your subconscious mind that require 2-hour sessions each. So then that would be a longer package. So I offer 3-month packages, 1-on-1, and I offer 6-month packages, 1-on-1. Now, if it's just a 2-hour session, you get the 2-hour session and you get 4 1-hour coaching calls. So it's a 30-day package, 2-hour session, 4 1-hour coaching calls. And on those coaching calls, we focus on, I give you very powerful tools that you can use whenever you feel the procrastination creeping back up. If you feel the sabotage creeping back up, you have these tools that I teach you, and it helps you like stay at this new level that you're at. The 3-month package is the same thing. It works into 30-day sectors. So you have 2-hour session, 4 1-hour group coaching calls, and that happens every month. And we all in the coaching calls, we focus on what's coming up in your life, your behavior, and I teach you a tool. So the 12-week program is a sexy mindset makeover, right? And basically you're going in a group setting. And I find there's people who enjoy the group setting. They enjoy being in a group. That's why I created the group. But you just get the same thing. You get the 2-hour session every month in a group setting. And I find that people who love being around other people get deeper healing as well, because they just enjoy being in that environment. So yeah, that's basically it.
And like seeing like other people's having those breakthroughs as well. I think that helps for sure. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Well, that's amazing. I love all of that. I really hope that
Thank you so much, girl.
Like, they need to rewire their brain. Like, and here I am, like, okay, guys, I have like a freaking long list of things that I need to work on. I think it's gonna be a costly, it's like a costly,
right.
I don't know, 24-hour session for me. Like, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be like sleeping for 24. I don't even know if that would be enough. Like, I don't even know where to start.
And that's the beauty of it. Another thing, that technically there's only 3 disempowering beliefs that we have: that I'm not good enough, I'm going to fail, and I don't belong here. Once you get rid of all those 3 beliefs, you are going to be like a superhuman that is able to bounce back after every disappointment, after every failure. That's the key, right? You want to be able to bounce back. Like, you want to feel things, but you don't want to stay there. You don't want to feel depressed. You want to feel the moment. Just like you mentioned, I cry and then I move on.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people sometimes can't do that because they feel like, why me? Why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be happening. I'm failing. I'm a bad person. I feel so embarrassed. All those things come up.
That, right?
Right. And then that's because of your childhood. It has nothing to do with what you are right now. and you just need to reprogram that.
Wow, that's so good. I've been just listening to this book called The Big Leap, and the Big
Oh
Leap,
yes.
and the Big Leap is basically treating this problem of upper limits, right? Like when you want to grow and extend into a certain part that's like reaching your upper limit is when you sabotage, right? That's why like whoever won the lotteries, they go broke and bankrupt. Whoever had success, they fuck it up somehow. And so how to not move into, like, how can I move past my upper limit and still expand and not, mess up and sabotage? I think that book itself treated like, I think one of them was worthiness, like those obstacles that are, and one of them was worthiness, and I need to pull the rest of the list. But I think just like you said, I have it in my notebook because I'm noting from every book I'm listening to. But I think those are so important that we need that. Maybe I don't need like 24-hour sessions. Just that I need to get, So the first one is feeling fundamentally flawed. Second one is disloyalty and abandonment. Like if I'm getting into a certain success, I'm gonna be abandoned, or I'm not going to be, like, my friend's gonna leave me, like all of that, right? Third is believing more success brings more burden.
Oh yes, that's what I'm going through right now.
Really?
Oh my gosh, girl, I'm going through that right now. Like today, I have another business that I have with my husband. It's a car business, and like this big thing happened in the business, and I was like, why does this always happen? Is it because I'm rich? Is it because I'm making money? Like, am I supposed to expect these things? Like, if I wasn't rich, I wouldn't be going through this. Like, that's how my mind was trying to sabotage itself, because I was telling myself, the more successful I become, the more responsibility I have to keep things together, to keep it all together.
Yeah. So you need to work through that one. And I think the third one is the crime of outshining, which is basically when you feel like as a child, when you were too bright or something, when you were like showing that you're more than like smart or something, and you got, like bring down, like, oh my God, you're too much, right? Like you're too much. Like that fear of outshining, as if that's a problem when you are not dimming your lights, when you are being your authentic self. So I think those are the 4 hidden barriers. Actually, they call it hidden barriers.
And I know what, I love that book. That book is like, I read it every month, just so like I get new nuggets from it. It's an amazing book. Like everyone should read it, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. And not even just like those success and limits and like, but like a couple therapy standpoint, like I'm taking 100% responsibility for what went wrong, and I take 100% responsibility for resolving the issue. And like how that is such a shift in, like, you did this, you did that, I did that, like just like shifting even the blame, like dissecting it, 90% your fault, 10% mine. No, instead of like taking both 100%, like even for me that was like super like, oh yeah, that's a good one.
Right. So true.
Okay, so how can someone connect with you if they want to have those limiting beliefs weeded out? Do you have like your program that you're doing? Like, is it something that's ongoing? Do you have like launches? Like when can someone jump in, or do you like close launches? Like how is the structured right now?
So with a 2-hour session, I have 3 slots available until December, until the end of the year. So I have 3 slots available for the 2-hour sessions. Once those slots get taken up.
You mean 2 slots available?
Oh, sorry, girl. Sorry. 2 slots available. See, look, she called it. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Let's see if I can afford it first, and then let's talk about it. I think I read like you have like 100,000 coaching, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yes.
Is this the 100? Is this the one?
No, it's not that one.
Okay.
No, that's what my clients who are making millions. It depends on like your how much you're making as well. So my prices are fair. Like according to like the transformation that you get is so worth it.
I know. I respect. I respect whoever is putting their prices out.
Of course.
And it's just like, if you tell me it's 100K, I guess I get to work then, because then I need to make 100K for Rosie. Like, yeah, no problem. Give me a month, I'll get there.
Yes, and that's, you know what, hun? That is the type of clients I only work with. I only work with clients who, because listen, I don't need anyone's money. I really don't.
Yeah.
I only want to work with successful people who I know will get a result, who I know will be committed. That's the reason why I have like very short for my one-on-one. It's very small. I only have a few slots. And for my Sacred Essential Success, it runs every 3 months. So I have a launch coming up. I'm opening up enrollment for the middle of November. So around the 15th of November. I'm relaunching Sacred Essential Success. And that's where you get the 3 group abundance rewiring sessions, and you get 1-hour coaching calls every week until the end of the program. So that's that. And I have that every 3 months. So I'm launching now in November, and then I'll be relaunching in February. And those spaces go fast because I only take on 10 women.
10? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Girls, the spaces are super limited here, but I love it. I love how it's exclusive even. Like, I think you need to have like a waiting list for someone to come in, like maybe from February, like, right? And that's, I love that. I love that. I love that, again, attention is like on that 10, you know?
Yes.
Then,
and the reason why I make it so small, because I just want that intimacy. And I know a lot of coaches will say, no, go big. But for me, it's not about it's about quality. I really want quality over quantity. So I always pick the people coming to my group programs. I pick them and I really weed them out to make sure that they want to be part of a group, and they want to thrive as a group, and they want to heal collectively as a group. That's very important to me. So that's the reason why I keep it small.
Yeah, it's so good. So you're accepting everyone, but you have your own qualification process.
Of course.
That you like handpick people, like, this is what I want to work with, and this is maybe you're not, and maybe I can send you to another coach, and that would be, good for you.
Exactly. And I do a lot of that. I do a lot of referring to other coaches. Like, when people come to me saying their marketing is a bit all over the place, I'm like, okay, I'm not for you. I know someone who's really good at that. Someone comes to me about, strategy, like Facebook and stuff. I'm okay, go with that person. I'm not the one. So I'm always referring people. And that's why I just don't take everyone on, because I want to make sure that I have the right clients around me.
And on your end, you said that you're successful already. So what kind of problems you're experiencing right now that you're helping solve, besides, the burnout and all of that?
So maybe like one of the main things that's come up recently for my clients is relationships. So maybe you've recently gone through a breakup and you feel like it's affecting your business, or you're in a marriage or in a relationship which is drying out, you're going through a dry spell, maybe the sex isn't great, you haven't orgasmed for a while, you're thinking, what's wrong with me? Is it because I'm fat? Is it because he doesn't like me anymore? You have all these issues in your relationship that really affects your business. And another thing with health, I work with a lot of women who've had infertility issues, who've had like painful periods, painful menstrual cycles, maybe you're exhausted all the time, you got insomnia, anxiety. So those are the kind of women I work with. And the main thing is that right now you have money, but you're not feeling fulfilled. Like, you're thinking, like, I thought making money is going to make me happy, but I don't have the man. My health is not great. And I don't have the life that really reflects the money I have. So I come along and I help you rewire the beliefs that you created in your mind when you were a child, so that you can go and enjoy your money, like spend your money, feel good spending your money, and and like hire a team member, hire a VA, hire people around you so your business can run without you. So you can go on holiday and not be on your phone 24/7 trying to figure out like who do I reply to. Like, there's so many people messaging me, like, you leave that to your VA so that you can go and get naked on the beach, drink your like pina colada and have a great time. Like, that's the whole point. That's why you built this business. So that's basically the obstacles that most of my clients are going through.
Yeah, that's very specific as well. And I think, a lot of women are guilty of that. Just like you said, like operating from this male energy and like not being able to tap into their powers and like feel good about spending time, not working. I think that's a huge thing. Okay, well, thanks so much. I think let's wrap up.
Love you so much.
Like,
thank you.
It's so much fun. Honestly, like, I learned so much, and
thank you so much.
Yeah, I would love what you do, and I'm here to support as well, the movement, and and like if you need clients to your way, like honestly, like I'm gonna be like your walking advocate from now on.
Oh girl, I love you. I can't just say
You
thank
got
you so
like a
much.
friend
Like,
for life.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? I just want to say thank you so much for like reaching out to me. I feel so honored to like have had this conversation with you. Like you really tapped into some parts of me that I really forgot. Like you just asked me certain questions and it reignited the passion that I have for this stuff that I do. So thank you so much for that. Like I deeply, deeply appreciate it.